Cornhusker Connection. I'm Brandon Shanahan, joined by Bookie Brook, of course, Tyler Sprinkle on the show as well. Lots of fun stuff going on. First recording since the bowl game. Nebraska wins their first bowl game in what feels like an eternity. Bowl season's wrapping up. We got the Final Four for the college football playoff. Transfer portal starting to slow down. How we doing, fellas?
Fantastic.
Feel great. Feel like a winner.
Yes.
It's amazing how one seemingly meaningless bowl game changes everything.
Yeah. But it's kind of like what we were saying, though. We'd rather get to kind of a shitty bowl game and win than get to a really good bowl game and get the shit kicked out of us, just from a mindset standpoint. So I'll take it. I'll fucking take it.
Absolutely.
So diving into the bowl game, Nebraska beats Boston College. Looks like that they were dominating the entire time, and then in classic Nebraska fashion, special teams comes in, ruins it a little bit, opens the door for Boston College to come through. Defense, new defensive coordinator already making moves. Does the old defensive coordinator lose that game? Maybe. We'll never know. But Nebraska finds a way to win the game. As much as I would love for Nebraska to blow out Boston College, it is, I think, more helpful that they found a way to win a one-score game.
Yeah, it was a win is a win is a win. Never going to apologize for that. But we got rid of Ed Foley recently, so hopefully no more blocked punts in our future. Our special teams was kind of a disaster this year, and that reared its ugly head in the bowl game and let Boston College back in it there at the end. But a lot of our young guys on defense looked really good and got some on-the-job training, so that was a real bright spot.
Do you think that was the final nail in the coffin for Ed Foley, or do you think this was kind of in the works for a while?
I don't know that it – yeah, I don't know it was the final nail, but anytime you're tied for first in the country with getting punts blocked, then you're probably on the hot seat as a special teams coordinator. And that one felt like an obvious one Boston College was going to come after, and the fact that no one told Buschini that, hey, man, you're not going to be able to take 3 steps and kick it. I don't know if that's more so on Buschini or Foley, but it just looked bad all the way.
Yeah, it didn't look like they really adjusted that formation either whenever they came out all on the line. It seemed like we weren't really too concerned with them coming after it for some reason. But, all's well as ends well. It is what it is. That's behind us. And get better.
Yeah, I like to think that's the kind of decision that is made ahead of time with some foresight. Okay, we know, especially the way that Matt Rule talked about special teams going into the game, was we need an overhaul. Yeah. It feels silly to overhaul something and then keep the main figurehead for it. It certainly probably didn't do Ed Foley any favors. Admittedly, there was a point in that game where we give Ed Foley a lifetime contract. That fake fourth down, fake punt, electric, and then the other, and then it just went downhill from there for Big Ed. So, I hate sports fans who are constantly banging for coaches to get fired or for quarterbacks to get benched. But this is the time. This is the time to do it, and I'm happy that we're making changes. Admittedly, probably not too stoked a full clean sweep before year 3 for Matt Rule, but as we talked about around the John Butler news, it seems like I'm happy that Matt Rule is finally getting an extended opportunity to bring his guys in.
Yeah. Brandon, I would like to take the opportunity to introduce you to Kettle. Kettle, this is Pot. Pot, this is Kettle. So, no, I'm just kidding. The only thing that kind of confused me is that it took so long for them to fire him. I feel like that's a couple days after the bowl game. You just kind of, hey, see you later, buddy. The Patriots didn't even let Gerard Mayo get to the locker room before they canned his ass. So,
yeah,
kind of weird.
Also, justice for Gerard Mayo. He did not deserve that.
Dude, what a disaster class. what an unfortunate situation to be in. But I mean, maybe if he had started Joe Milton from the get go, maybe he's got a job. Maybe he's got another game to prepare for. Who knows?
Oh yeah.
There's nothing Gerard Mayo could have done differently with that roster. Like,
No shot.
I think the ceiling was 5 wins with that roster, and he got 4. So
I just think that they panicked a little bit in the head coaching search, and they're like, "Well, this guy's already here, so let's just hire him." And then after they made it official, they're like, "Ooh, Vrabel's out there. Maybe we should have just did that instead," because it seems like that's kind of where they're trending to. But he got some money for being a head coach for a year, so good for him.
don't get it twisted. They wanted Vrabel all along. That's the only reason Mayo got fired. But I mean, still, shitty to bring a guy in and have to put that on his resume and get fired after 1 year when he did about as good a job as he could have. But
yeah, he was definitely the scapegoat.
I digress.
I'm right there with you. As far as like what took so long for Foley, I read somewhere that his contract expired at the new year, so it probably just makes sense. And that's such, I feel like more than offense and defense, that's such a tough thing to adjust in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
So I'm not too. I think everything that happened with their coaches happened exactly how it needed to. I'm glad that we upgraded our defensive coordinator. I'm glad that we gave Marcus Satterfield every opportunity in the world to show any bit of competence. And then I'm glad that we moved on quickly before the Wisconsin game and the USC game. And then I'm glad that we're probably going to upgrade it special teams coordinator too.
Yeah, 2 names for me in the special teams department. I would want to see one, either it's in-house and you just promote Brett Maher because he's been in the NFL. He knows, obviously, what he did with John Hull this year speaks for itself. He was a punter, I believe, at Nebraska, right? Maher was?
Place kicker.
Or did he kick for us?
Yeah, he kicked.
Was he?
He could probably punt too. I don't know.
Okay, I thought he did punting too there for some reason. But, I mean, regardless, like, he should know how to run that room. So, but the other one was the guy that Will Compton was, speaking so glowingly about, that Mike Eckler. He's, done a good job with the Titans, but no connection there other than Compton, so that one might be a little tougher.
Was he not at Nebraska at some point already?
Eckler?
Yeah, I thought he was there for a while. In like the early to late.
I meant like no connection to like Rule.
Oh, I see. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Mike Eckler is such a football coach name too, so I'd be hyped with that.
Yeah. Did we ever figure out any relation to Austin Eckler?
I mean, it definitely is decently plausible, right? Because Eckler grew up not too far from Nebraska, right? He was a Colorado guy.
I think he was Western Nebraska guy where he grew up.
It's definitely possible if he was at Nebraska, and just lived in Nebraska.
I know Eckler grew up right along the Colorado-Nebraska border. I don't know what side, but yeah. I mean, that's not a super common name. It's got to be some kind of.
Yeah.
So Mike Eckler was on the defensive staff for Nebraska during Bo Pelini's time. He grew up in Blair.
Okay.
And then went to Scott. So, I mean, runs pretty deep, I think. So, I mean, that seems like a home run. I feel like I don't know a whole lot about the special teams coordinator circuit. So, whoever they hire is going to be a home run for me.
Yeah.
And
or
maybe this is just me.
One of Rule's guys.
Yeah. Maybe this is just me being stupid, but I feel like it can't be that hard to just be at least decent at special teams, right?
You would think.
You would think, right?
Yeah.
And they did get into the portal, and the very first thing they did was get a long.
Hell yeah!
They're like, we got to get this settled right now.
Yeah, we've been really, really active in the portal. Jog my memory, we didn't get a whole lot from the portal last year, right? Like maybe 6 or 7 guys tops, right?
It's a good question. I
The
think
two
I think you're right about
wideouts,
there.
Yeah. So you're right.
linebacker. You're right. So 4 at least. Oh, 5, Blyhill,
Yeah.
the DB. Yeah, probably less than 10, I would say.
Yeah. So we're getting much more active. Hopefully they go better than the Isaiah Nayer thought there. I don't know what that guy's gonna do. He's in a predicament right now.
Yeah, last year
I
we had 9 transfers in, 10 transfers out. So yeah,
Okay.
we're a bit more active this year.
Yeah, especially in a year
Listen,
that we need to drop so many. But
I'm never gonna like kick a guy while he's down, but Isaiah Nayer's biggest problem is Isaiah Nayer. So hopefully he figures it out. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it'll be at Nebraska.
no, I don't either. I wonder if he had this thought like, you know what, I'm a big body wide receiver. I have the ability to make plays. I'm gonna go dip my toes in the portal, make a bunch more money, and then maybe go to the draft. And then he went to the portal and nobody wanted him. And then he's like, well, I'm going to go to the draft. And he got told no. And now he's just kind of stuck in limbo.
I could see that. I could also see a situation where he's getting fed really bad advice.
Yeah.
And that's the bummer.
That is.
But the thing is, when you go to 3 different schools and you've put shit on film like that follows you places. It's not like, yeah, he had decent receiving numbers at Nebraska with 500 or so yards, but couldn't block to save his life. Dropped a game sealing catch against Iowa. Like, that stuff follows you wherever you go, man. And he's 22, 23 years old. Like, I think colleges are done taking chances on him, but who knows?
Yeah, it kind of
Maybe he'll get another opportunity.
It kind of makes me think of that Alabama, that former 5-star that they had. Went to Alabama, went somewhere else, went to UCF, and now he's at Sacramento State. Like a former 5-star wide receiver. That's nuts.
That happens. I mean, not Malachi Coleman. Malachi Nelson just signed with the University of Texas at El Paso.
Yeah, but that's awesome. I'm very, very happy.
Yeah,
for
big
him.
fan for the Miners. I mean, recruiting
Sometimes
services
people just get it wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't disagree.
But yeah, Nebraska has been a lot more active. 14 commitments so far, and I imagine I'll probably try to shore some more stuff up after spring. But just some of the highlights: outgoing Princewell, he's gone to Ole Miss. James Williams to Florida State. Dante Dowdell to Kentucky. Malachi Coleman to Minnesota.
Wait, is that confirmed then?
Which one?
Malachi.
Yeah, I think
Okay,
so.
cool.
At
Yeah.
least.
Well, because I remember he posted a picture and everybody's like, "Oh, he's going to Minnesota," and then people were like, "Oh, this isn't
No,
official."
I saw someone
I
else.
wasn't.
Yeah, it took a little while. And then Jamari Butler to LSU, Borkature to A&M, Daniel Kalen to Virginia, and then the big one that dropped today, Jalen Lloyd to Oklahoma State. This is the big one that came out today. So, overall, a good mix.
Did you say Gabe Irvin?
Oh,
Did I
Gabe
miss
Irvin.
that one?
Sorry, he's quite a bit down on this list. He committed to Kansas State. And yeah, that's Stephon Thompson, a couple other stragglers. But I mean, those are the primary names. Either they were contributors or like Princewell was about to be a huge contributor, or Omaha guys that are now leaving, which is a bummer.
Yeah. I saw Brian Buschini just declared for the draft, so best of luck to him.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Speaking
there
of
was
which,
any other
I
option.
did watch. Yeah, he had to. Our boy
Well,
from
and his,
Washington, the punter, had a rough
Go ahead.
time in the Sun Bowl.
Uh-oh.
The
That's good.
McAllister.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. In El Paso, it was tough to see.
Mm.
Oh, is that the punter we picked up? Or who's
Yeah.
that? Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully one the special teams coordinator has a good plan, and then also we don't punt a lot. I mean, I think that's plan A, actually.
Yeah, but in Bushini's letter saying that he's going to the draft, he said whether I get drafted or signed as a free agent or I start my accounting career, thank you, Nebraska. So
that's funny. Those are my favorite.
Yeah,
like I am open to work.
The Washington,
Catch me on LinkedIn.
the Washington linebacker.
Yeah,
that was so sweet. That was cool.
That was funny.
I love it. So as far as I'm feeling, I mean, as time goes by and now we got to see some of the younger guys in the bowl game, I'm feeling like we're in a good place with where we're at transfer portal wise. As far as some of the big contributors coming in, Dane Key, Williams Winery, big name guys. Winery more of the potential, Dane Key more of the production, and also like I was kind of diving into Kentucky Twitter. Dane Key might be the best Kentucky wide receiver of all time.
Yeah, they love Dane Key.
They also love that other guy that we just got too. I forget his name.
They're hurting about. Oh boy, what was his name?
Gilmore. It's like Hardy Gilmore.
Yeah.
That's right. And they are hurting. Yeah, Hardly Gilmore the fourth. They are hurting for him. True freshman. And by the way, also a true freshman that reclassed early. So super, super young guy. Played 7 games for Kentucky last year. I mean, we talk about how much of a red flag it is for guys who don't get on the field in programs like Kentucky. He did as a 17-year-old. So they're hurting about him leaving.
I can't wait to tweet he's only 18 all next year.
I love it.
And he's only 18.
Yeah.
And I mean, nothing that we see on these transfer portal sites are going to mean anything until the guys get on the field. But I also felt the same way about the transfers that came in last year. But everything that I've wanted outside of like an interior lineman or a tackle has been outstanding. I love where Nebraska's at right now.
It looks like we're going to get the
right
tackle from Alabama.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying not to get my hopes up.
Yeah.
Trying not to get too
sounds like
that would be game changer.
Sounds like there's a couple linemen that we're kind of in the running for. I saw the Alabama one, but I forget. There might be a few more that are thinking about or that.
Yeah, there's a few that they're
announced
sniffing
visits
around.
yet, but yeah. But that would be sweet.
Another interesting one is Fedoni. People said transfer portal. Some people said draft. That's interesting, no?
Would be interesting.
He's thinking about going to the draft?
That's what some people are saying. When it initially came out that he was entering the portal, somebody or a couple people came out and reported that he might be leaning toward the NFL draft instead.
I mean, if he's putting his name in the draft, I might as well just throw my name in there then too.
That's mean.
Well, I think if you look at the body types, there's a little bit of a difference. A little bit of a difference.
Yeah, he's taller.
He's taller. That is true.
Everything else that guy block, you can't convince me. You can't convince me I can block much worse than him. So
he's got about a foot on you, Brooke. But he's like 6'4", so about a foot.
Dude, I'll still body bag him.
Brooke has had far less knee surgeries.
Dude, I'm 6'1". What the fuck are you talking about?
So out of all these transfers that have left, which one are you hurting on the most?
Prince Will.
I mean, maybe Jalen Lloyd just because he's an Omaha guy. I don't know. I'm kind of like I love these guys, and I hope they do great things, but I'm not really tore up about a whole lot. Yeah, losing Prince Will does suck, but he was an unproven guy. Like he didn't get to play a whole lot.
It's more so of he had time on the field this year, and it's like he was supposed to be making a big jump going into next year, and the fact that he got his on-the-job training at Nebraska And if he goes crazy at Ole Miss, it'll be like, damn, what could have been.
Yeah.
That's true. Because it felt like it was about to get really fun. Like we ate our vegetables and we were finally about to get to dessert. And then mom's like, no, the dentist said you can't have any. Fat little pig, no dessert for you. That's what.
Speaking from experience, huh, Brandon?
I mean, who knows? Who knows? That might be a bit personal. Princewell and Jamari Butler are in that camp for me where, man, it felt like they were about to just take huge steps. I do adamantly hope they don't find success at their next stop. But that's another thing. There's
Brandon.
And then there's also guys, I think the biggest name in like this camp as far as, man, I wish it had worked out better is Daniel Kalen. Felt like he got jobbed quite a bit. Was committed to Missouri. Raiola falls through. He decommits to Nebraska. Raiola flips, and he's kind of stuck in no man's land. But it seems like he's taking it on the chin as far as his year at Nebraska. I actually do hope that he goes balls out at Virginia.
Yeah, DK deserves only good things to happen for him, and I hope he wins the Heisman. Hope he goes pro, because he really was. He wanted to be here, and it's just like the one time in the last 20 years we have a 5-star quarterback ahead of him. It's like he's not going to get a look, but that's the nature of the business. So
yeah,
rooting for him.
And the fact that and the fact that he decided to maybe look around a little bit and he said, you know what, no, I'm going to Nebraska, tells you a lot about him. Like he wasn't afraid. He was going to at least go compete for 1 year and see what happens. So that just tells you a whole lot about him.
And the same kind of thing for
that.
Absolutely.
For guys like local guys, Jalen Lloyd, the Bellevue West duo that are seeking greener pastures. It's hard for me to root. It's not impossible, but it is hard for me to root against anybody from Nebraska just because it didn't work out here.
Yeah, I mean,
and
Malachi, I hope he does well.
I didn't mention him.
He said anybody from Nebraska.
I said there are exceptions. There are exceptions.
Malachi is a good person, though. So for me, it's like, yeah, I wish he would have stayed and wish he would have battled it out. But, it's hard to be mad at a guy who, like, the NIL money he was getting, he was donating to kids who were orphans or whatever it was. Yeah, so.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything bad about him.
Hope you feel bad about
that. I'm not going to say anything bad about him. There are definitely guys who I'm actively rooting against. So, and he's not in that camp.
Well, that's a relief.
Who are you actively rooting against?
And so again, and this isn't personal, but it's just
it feels like it. It does feel like it.
Well, because like I don't know anything.
I can tell by the tenseness in his voice.
He's afraid to misstep right now. Go on.
Well, like I don't know anything about Jamari Butler, but what I don't want is a guy to leave Nebraska and then have great success. Like there were guys in the past that have had that, like Wan'Dale Robinson, Adrian Martinez to a certain extent, but there's not a whole lot of guys that have succeeded after leaving Nebraska, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, those are the big two that comes to mind, but am I missing anybody? Has it ever been, how many times has it been a great decision to leave Nebraska?
Jeff Sims.
Luke McCaffrey.
Luke,
he got drafted, dude.
I mean, he was a fourth round draft pick.
I mean, he had to change a whole other position than the one that he was playing at Nebraska or at Louisville. That feels
that's how bad our coaching staff was. Is they didn't even have him playing the right position.
Well, all right. I mean, it's not like he went to any other Power 5 school in America. Okay, we can put him in that camp. I don't have much argument. It was a good choice for him. But I'm thinking like the Calabrasca guys, like none of them really had more success than I think they would have at Nebraska. Tristan Jebbia kind of figured it out late, but I mean,
Adrian.
Oh,
Yeah.
POB.
You got kind of
Patrick O'Brien figured it out later.
Did he?
2
Where did he end
2
up?
a.m. will always be who?
Patrick O'Brien.
Jebbia? CSU, right?
Well, Jebbia
Colorado
went
State? No.
to Oregon State for a little bit, and I think he even ended up at Ohio State. I mean, he didn't play anything at
Yeah, it's
Ohio
like a
State,
grad.
but yeah.
No, Patrick O'Brien was slinging it for Colorado State for like a year or two. I'm pretty sure.
Well, let's see here. I got him pulled up. It doesn't say anything about Colorado State, but I mean, I could have. I might be mistaken. I might be missing
Maybe I
it.
have the school wrong, but
He died. He's been dead for 24 years.
Damn.
Man.
oh,
Well, does that say 1914?
Man.
Of course he's fucking dead. What are you talking about?
maybe it was a different school.
It might have been a different guy. But this would be the class to do that, and I don't want that example to be set. And Tony White, I am actively rooting against him at all stops. How dare you turn Nebraska into a stepping stone?
Brandon is absolutely preying on Tony White's downfall.
You give up 50 points to Indiana off a bye week, and now you flee for a 3-year contract. Run to the burning boat, motherfucker.
Run into the burning boat with a bucket of water, buddy.
That's right.
Turn that program around.
But yeah, I mean that's kind of
fuckers not
most
remember
of these guys.
Huskus and fucking
Who?
what's his dick that was Scott Frost D coordinator, Chenander.
Oh yeah,
Papuchis and
That
Chenander.
all feels like just a fever dream. Like that's all just fuzzy. I don't really remember a whole lot, if I'm being honest.
I remember feeling a lot of pain.
Tony White damn near deserves a statue for what he did in such a short amount of time here.
Oh,
I just said that he's going to turn around
Yes,
Florida State. I'm in your boat, Brooke.
No, yeah.
Deserves a statue.
I love when you're in my boat.
Inheriting a defense and then having a worse defense in year
Only
two.
if it's the love boat.
Giving up 400 yards.
Brother,
Yeah,
he didn't
he
inherit fuck.
He inherited all those
He
players.
inherited a burning boat.
I mean, okay. He did fine. He did fine.
I think he did at the very least
Brother,
above average.
if he inherited those players, like you're saying, what did the guy before him do with those players? And let's compare those numbers.
Ooh.
Yeah, the guy before him wasn't good. The guy before him got fired. The guy before him didn't look at Nebraska and be like, I can do better than this. And I think we have two different definitions on what inheriting means. Because all those players were on the same team with Chenander. And yeah, Tony White did a much better job than Chenander.
That's my point.
Although I don't think Chins gave up 400 yards to 5-7 Wisconsin team.
Brandon, the real question here is, how do you
gave
feel?
up 600 yards to fucking Georgia Southern.
Yeah, okay. All right. He did do that. He did.
The real question, though, Brandon, is how do you feel about Jorge Poasa?
Jorge Poasa. Who's Jorge Poasa?
How do you feel about him?
Sounds like a stand-up fella, I guess.
You would be wrong.
Damn it. Like 50-50. Either a good guy or a bad guy.
Yeah.
Just like to see the good in people.
Jorge, if you're watching this, I'm sorry.
Brandon likes to see the good in people. Yeah, right, dude. Kick rocks, buddy.
Brandon wants to watch the world burn.
Absolutely. He said, let me start this podcast just so I can slander all these children's names as they play for my favorite school.
I will never slander anybody
Brandon,
who wants to be a Husker. I'll just put that out there.
I have been loving you dunking on the SEC for sucking in this bowl season. So if you'd like to take a victory lap and do that some more.
Oh, I'm having so much fun. I'm happy that we're finally at a point in college football where we have a system that is fairly equitable to the rest of college football. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but they play football throughout the country, not just in the southeast corner of the United States of America. And just the way that the dominoes have fallen, because I think the college football playoff committee got it right putting SMU in. I think they got it right putting in Indiana. I hate that Indiana is even a conversation. They went 11-1. I hate that was even a talking point.
Yeah.
They should have gotten in. And then, that leaves out a 3-loss South Carolina team and a 3-loss Alabama team. And what have they done since? Not a goddamn thing, dude. One of them lost to the worst Michigan team in 10 years. The other one got kicked around by Brett Bielema, who has been taking a victory lap on Twitter and pointing and laughing at Shane Beamer this entire time. I mean, what an embarrassment for the Southeastern Conference. And then their best team, the only team that they have that made it to the Final Four is a Big 12 team that just rechanged their jersey patch. So a Big 12 team comes in, dominates Alabama, dominates the SEC, and is their best chance at a national title. Georgia couldn't get past Marcus Freeman. I mean, what a world!
There would be something so poetic for us if there was an Ohio State Penn State natty, just because it would be a shifting, like a passing of the torch, like those SEC teams, the 4 teams CFP. The fact that you have 3 teams from the North in the Final Four is just.
Well, Brooke, when we analyze the SEC, it's not just about the top teams; it's about top down. I mean, boy, can you imagine like Illinois and South Carolina being on the same field? South Carolina would dog walk them. Even in this down year with Alabama, they would still dog walk like a Michigan team. Like, I mean, what a disaster for the SEC. I love it. I'm having so much fun.
As a 16-point favorite, they lost to Michigan. Crazy.
Well,
nasty work.
And I was thinking about it, like Vanderbilt and Oklahoma aren't very good. And the only reason why they got into a bowl game this year is because they had a soft schedule and got to play Alabama. Like if you replace them with, I don't know, Arizona State, they don't make a bowl game. But, they got the soft schedule, 8 conference games, and you get a cupcake like Alabama. ACC has also been in shambles. So it's been a good year for the Big 10, Big 12 agendas.
I can't believe you let the propaganda train start rolling, Brooke. How could you?
Boys, I would just like to refer you to what I said in July.
Oh.
Do you remember who I said was going to win it all?
As a show, we did select Ohio State as our national champion on the show.
I don't even remember that, to be honest.
I mean, I did say it would not be close and that they'd run over everybody, and that did not happen. But
I mean,
a win is
we're kind of getting there.
Actually, it's starting to come back to me now. I do remember you saying that. So
I also remember you didn't get a whole lot of pushback.
Yeah,
we were like, "Oh, that's no fun. You just picked the best team in the country to win the national championship."
Who did I pick?
And like I said, I was only half correct. I said they'd go undefeated and that they'd roll over everybody. So not a total victory, and they still got work to do. But I mean, preseason we also thought Georgia, Bama would be a factor, and woof.
I mean, yeah. I mean, who could have thought? Who could have seen the downfall of Carson Beck coming as crazy as it's been?
The boy's butt cheeks.
I mean, I thought he was not very good, but man, that brother might be non-Power 5 good if he transfers.
No kidding. Some poor NFL team's gonna take a flyer.
Be the New York Giants.
Sounds like a Denver Bronco to me.
Are the Browns going to draft Shedeur Sanders?
The Browns.
Why would
they take Shedeur Sanders?
They have the 2nd overall pick.
So who do you think that the Titans are going to take?
Cam Ward.
Okay.
The They could.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, I suppose. I think they're more likely to take Travis Hunter than they would be to take a quarterback at this moment. And that's saying a lot because they still have shitty Deshaun Watson, the Predator.
Whoa.
I just think if you don't absolutely love Shadur, I think you go with the best player available, which is Travis Hunter.
I'm really rooting for him to go to the
So
Browns.
Ashton Genty's not the best player available. Interesting.
No, but he did have the best college season.
Mm.
So I'm not delusional, okay? I know Travis Hunter is
Alright.
an amazing generational talent, but Ashton Genty had a better season. I think those two things can coexist at the same time.
I have no pushback there. Travis Hunter's a freak.
Yeah.
Who's the next quarterback they think it's going to go off the board after those two?
Oh, that's such a good question because it gets real messy after those two.
I saw
does somebody take?
Milroe in
Yeah,
some
but
mock drafts, but
That'd be fun.
after that bowl game, it'd be hard pressed to believe that still might be the case. Before the season started, it was Carson Beck basically was the number one guy.
No kidding.
Do people
not
look
Ewers.
at Dylan Gabriel?
Yeah, he's probably next. That's probably true.
He kind of feels like he's in that Quinn Ewers tier. All right, it's like if we need a quarterback, we need a quarterback, but nobody's excited about him. Yeah, at least in the CBS mock draft, they don't have another quarterback going in the first round.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that.
Can you look up? Can you look up like the top 10 quarterback prospects? Who those are? Because I couldn't name 10.
Well, it
Like
gets
that are
confusing
good.
because some of the guys that were supposed to come out this year sucked. So now I doubt that they're coming out, or guys that have to come out.
McCord's got to be. McCord's stock's got to be rising a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in order, ESPN has a Shadur Sanders, Cam Ward, Quinn Ewers, Carson Beck, Jalen Milroe, Dylan Gabriel, Jackson Dart, Curtis Rourke, Kyle McCord, and Tyler Shuck.
Yeah,
who were the last
I know
two?
Kyle McCord and Tyler Shuck.
I like
know
Dart.
The guy from
I like Dart a lot too.
Was supposed to come out this year and go really high for some reason. But
Who?
he's coming back to what's his name, Nussmeier or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm not a fan of him, if I'm being real honest.
No, when I saw him pegged as the 12th overall guy coming off the board, mid-season mock drafts, I was floored. I could not believe that they put them on there.
Yeah,
that's where I was at.
I don't think he's very good.
And then
I think Jackson Dart is the third best this year.
Yeah, I think he has all the tools to definitely compete in the NFL. It's just the mental side of it. Is he ready for that? I'm not sure.
And then 2026, they have Arch Manning, Nico, Lenora Sellers, Garrett Nussmeier, Jalen Daniels, and Drew Aller.
Jalen Daniels is coming back again? He's got another year?
He sure does.
Oh, my God.
He probably didn't draw it up that way, but after the season he had, he's like, I got to figure some stuff out.
Wow.
Jesus.
And they also have Malachi Nelson above guys like Sam Levitt, Jackson Arnold, Miller Moss, Clay Klubnik, which is crazy.
Klubnik's not eligible this year. It's next year he's eligible.
Yeah. Or, he probably is eligible, but he's probably better off staying another year.
Coming back, yeah.
And that's another cool thing about NIL is that some of these guys, like Nussmeier, like Klubnik, probably would have gone to the NFL if NIL wasn't a thing. If I'm not getting paid anything, might as well at least go.
I don't know how you guys feel, but I would take Klubnik over Ewers and Beck right now.
I could see that. I wouldn't put
Um,
much pushback.
I know Quinn Ewers hasn't had like the best season, but I still like his talent, like the possibility that he could bring, like the ceiling. I like. So getting like a good NFL staff for him, I think he could be pretty good, but not Carson Beck.
Not Carson Beck. Got the Cavender curse.
Yeah,
Noah Fafita is 14th
no.
on this list. That's unbelievable. Well, I guess he's only
Oh.
5'10".
Where do
Yeah,
you go knowing?
Carson Beck.
Oh. I thought you just got
The
some
Cavender
breaking
curse.
news. Yeah.
No.
And I mean, I don't know how reputable this website is. It's NFL Draft Plus, but they have Cam Rising as the 37th best quarterback in next year's class, which makes me very, very giggly. What a disaster.
It's going to be another Brandon Whedon situation.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
I was like, are we sure that he's even coming out then?
Good
I
Lord.
wouldn't think so.
But good stuff. Yeah, I like Quinn Ewers. I also feel like he's not being asked to do a whole lot at Texas. Like there could be another gear there, but we don't really need to see it because he's got so much talent around him, and that defense is so good. It's like he just kind of comes
That's
in
what
and
I'm saying.
clocks,
It's like
clocks out.
I think if you put Jackson Dart, if you switch those two situations, you put Jackson Dart on Texas. Texas is running through everybody.
Mhm.
I think, yeah, I just like you said, they're kind of treating Quinn Ewers with kid gloves, and I think Arch Manning definitely could have played over him at times this year. But Sark's just being loyal to Ewers and letting him finish his time out. Is that the right move? Remains to be seen. But
I mean, Georgia had them in such
Yeah,
a phone
I
booth.
think
They
there's-
did try Arch Manning, and they're like, we're not doing anything
Yep.
with anybody. That was fun.
So speaking of
Tough.
Texas, Final Four, what are we thinking?
Yeah, how do you guys want this to play out?
I think I wouldn't mind necessarily if Notre Dame made it to the championship. But I do think it would be very funny if Ohio State, Penn State made it to the final and Penn State beat them. That would just be the funniest thing in the world to me.
I think
The funniest
Nebraska
outcome-
fans want. I think Nebraska fans want Penn State to win it all.
Yeah.
So James Franklin's never leaving that place.
Yeah, he'll have a
For
lifetime contract for sure.
We'll have a statue up to the noble Joe Pa. To me, the funniest outcome is that, but then James Franklin never beats Ohio State again. Retires like 1-15 against Ohio State, but I mean the one's a national championship, so who really won?
And then Ryan Day gets to the national championship game and gets fired.
Yeah. I think I want Ryan Day to make the championship and lose.
That would be great.
Just because that would be hilarious.
Yeah, I'm also rooting for Ohio State and Notre Dame. Then there to be one of those mega cast broadcasts, and it's just Lou Holtz, like a Lou Holtz camp. He's just sitting in his living room in front of a fireplace, just talking shit on Ryan Day, like this soft motherfucker. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Get him on the Booger Mobile.
That's right.
Let that fucker fly around the field with a megaphone, just screaming obscenities at Ryan Day.
I think I would be
know,
happy with
I need
anybody but
Lou Holtz.
Texas.
Yeah. I need Lou Holtz on the field, so if Ohio State wins, Ryan Day can just run up to him and hit him with the D Generation X a bunch of times.
Winner gets to hit the other in the balls.
Hell yeah.
I'm so
That's
here
what
for
I'm
it.
here for.
And I'll tell you what, I mean, with as influential as Pat McAfee's gotten in the sports media, I can see that as a possible situation. He's got a lot of pull.
Or they have to, before the game, they have to battle to the death in midfield with a couple cattle prods.
Hell yeah. That Mace was tough Brought her like
I
a
got
son
him,
of a
bro.
bitch.
Some bitch, man.
I love it. I love how the college football playoff is played out. I wish some of the games had been more competitive, but that's how it's always been. Even when it was just a 2-team BCS championship, a lot of those games were blowouts too. Like this is just what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it gets really real when a team like Oregon that was just awesome all year gets boat raced in the playoff. So you can sit there and say, oh, Boise State, oh, Arizona State, oh, SMU. But then the top tier teams this year are getting the same treatment. So shove it up your ass.
Yeah, it was a good. I think it was exactly how it needed to go for the agenda. The agenda that all college football rocks. There should be representation.
I think
Also,
that they should do a portion of the college football playoff, like midweek shit, while we're waiting for the actual college football playoff games to go. That like once you get to the second round, if you lose, then you have to play the other person on the side of your bracket that lost.
Oh, that would rock.
Dude, that would be so much fun.
That would rock.
And then make that like their bowl game.
That's a good way to do
because
it.
then everybody would just opt out of that game. No one would play. It wouldn't be fun.
We got to try it. I think try it 1 year. If that happens, then fair enough. You're right.
And I'm
Yeah.
starting to come around to the idea that just because guys opt out of bowl games or just because guys transfer out, bowl games still kind of rock. And, like it's different. It's definitely different than what it used to be. But I think it's evolving into something pretty cool where you get to see some of these younger guys that didn't get to play. I mean, like how awesome! And this might be just through my Husker lens. I'm sure not all fans believe this, but how cool was it to see Vincent Shavers just wreak havoc? And now we have that
Oh yeah.
taste in our mouth going into the offseason. That rocks. I mean, I know it didn't work out very well at the end, but like the excitement that Oklahoma fans had after that Jackson Arnold bowl game a couple years ago, like that's something unique, and I think that's pretty cool.
And I know that you can't do this, but I wonder if there is a way that they could tie like those postseason games into like your NIL contracts, to where the bowl game is, let's say, 8% of your NIL money. And if you play, then you get it. If you don't play, then you don't get it, kind of thing.
Yeah,
That gets really sticky for sure. But I think that would be a way to make sure that these guys are playing the bowl games.
I wonder if something like that, because now that the schools are paying them, I'd imagine they have a little bit more flexibility to do something like that.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of Cam Ward sitting out after the first half?
Bullshit.
Yeah, I'm on the other side. I don't really care that much.
Listen.
I mean, I see the why people have an issue with it. I just don't.
Listen, I mean, I'm all for it in the sense that like universities have been making money on players forever, and this was Cam Ward's opportunity to pretty much say fuck you. I'm all for that, but at the same time, if you're gonna play and like you want to play for your guys, your teammates, and win, like if you're gonna play, play. If you're gonna sit out, sit out. Like don't. I just hate the half in, half out thing. Like he was playing selfishly just for him to get that record. I think it's kind of bullshit, but I don't know. It's what
I'm in the camp where if the team had discussed this with him before and he's like, this is what I'm thinking, and everybody was like cool with it, then I'm all for Cam Ward doing that. If he just pulled this shit at halftime and nobody knew about it, then I think that's bullshit. But if it was discussed before, I don't really have an issue with it.
And I'm always in favor of guys going after records. I wish we would have gotten to see like Saquon try to chase Eric Dickerson's record. I wish Ashton Genty probably would have tried a little bit harder to get Barry's record. I think that would have helped him out a lot in the Heisman race, but team guy, can't blame him. The thing about this that bugs me, because I'm more so with Tyler, where it's like you got to do what you got to do. I was rooting for Iowa State. I love Iowa State, but I think it would have been so sick for him to come in that last drive and lead a comeback and win the game.
Yeah,
I think that would have been awesome.
But my whole problem with the Ashton Genty thing is they saved him. They sat him out of the second half in how many games to save him for the bigger goal, and then they still get boat raced by Penn State. So they should have chased that record for him. It's like you saved him for what? To, get beat by 3 scores by Penn State in the college football playoff? Would have been way cooler if he broke that record, won the Heisman.
Yeah. I want it to be on the record that the game was closer than the final score appeared.
That game was weird because it
was.
You're right. It didn't feel like. I know Penn State kind of ran away with it late, but it just kind of felt like Boise State was playing on their heels, and like they were trying, like they needed to be perfect to keep up with Penn State. But I'm with you. I get it. And like hand up, I do think it is pretty cool. All right, go ahead, Brooke. This is kind of pivots.
Well, just as a team, they kind of got exposed. Like, I mean, at least their offense. Their defense, it's whatever. You only gave up 31, not crazy. But that quarterback they loaded the box. They still gave it to Genty 30 times. But when they needed to make a big throw or make a big play, it was very obvious that Boise State lacked a quarterback.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. They did keep it close. It wasn't like they got boat raced from start to finish, but at the end of the day, it was just they never had the firepower to win that game. And
yeah,
I don't know. I digress.
And I know we're not big fans of this team, but I do think that makes it even cooler that Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders played in their bowl game, even though they got their ass beat and exposed for the fraudulent team that they've been all year. I think that's pretty cool. That was a good look for them.
Yeah. I did like that, Like you said, they did get blown out, but at least
I can't stress that enough. That was the best Big 12 team that they've played all year, and they got absolutely whooped. But they did participate, and that is not insignificant.
Nope.
Oh, and last thing about the playoff, I hope that teams are taking away that if you're a team like Indiana, like Arizona State, like Boise State, it's going to be better to lay it out and empty the clip as opposed to try to be conservative and try to keep it close. Because Indiana felt like Indiana and Arizona State, I would probably pick Indiana head to head, but the way that they came out was so different, and I think the result speaks for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Agreed.
All right, fellas. Well, that's all that I had. Anything else on your mind?
She came down in a bubble, Doug.
The Wicked Witch of the East, bro.
That's about it.
Yeah, that's how I spent my New Year's Eve, watching Wicked instead of the Sugar Bowl. So terrorism really does hit home.
Yeah.
Damn.
Wow. Tough.
All right, fellas. Well, we'll wrap it up. Any final thoughts?
Go Big Broncos.
Go the Broncos.
Nope. Absolutely not.